What's going on, fam? How is everybody doing? I'm doing better. I'm doing better. I made it. I made it here. I'm doing a little bit better, fam. I'm doing a little bit better. For those of you who did not know, I missed last week, all of last week because of COVID. But I am back. I'm not 100%, but I feel turkey ready as if it's Thanksgiving. But listen, fam, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but we ain't gonna talk about it all today. But listen, I feel like you know how sometimes I gotta admit when I'm wrong. You know how I initially said to a lot of y'all, I said, I feel like we have come a long way since Obama. I feel like we are kind of over symbolism and we are really focused on substance as a people. Ooh, 2 dislikes already. Let me tell the haters how y'all doing. Y'all show up all the time. I loves it. I love the fact that y'all show up all the time. The haters are some of the biggest viewers on this platform. They show up just to hit the down button. I love that y'all show up and you have so much. I take so much of the attention in your mind. I see it. Oh, I loved you. But anyway, fam, hit the like button, hit subscribe. If you have not gotten your tickets to the ADOS Summit in New Orleans, we are going to do work. We are going to have a fine time. We are going to work and eat good food and do everything that we need to do. If you have not done that, ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead and get your ticket today. Get your ticket today. Please go ahead and make sure that happens because, listen, we are in quite a predicament and we are still in a predicament. Now, I'm not saying we have not moved some. I think we have. I think that's why you see Kamala having a hard time, but coming out of the gate and so I think we have made some progress, but not nearly enough. And we have work to do. And I will see you at the ADOS Summit to do that work in October. You got plenty of time. So please go ahead and do that. Now, listen, apparently we are supposed to trust joy to put food in our bellies and that be our politics. We are just supposed to trust that Kamala Harris is not Trump. And I agree, the Trump stuff that's some horrible stuff. Did y'all see Trump out there around all the sausages, surrounded by the sausages and groceries? And I don't even know what he was talking about. I tried to watch it because I feel like it's my responsibility to do so, but I didn't see anything really meaningful, right? So I understand. But let me tell you something. If you have to hide yourself to beat Trump, if you have to say, I'm not going to put forth an agenda because Trump and his people might pick it apart, if that is your posture in terms of you shouldn't have to do that for Trump, Trump is not well versed, at least in my estimation. Listen, they will both get invites to the conference for October. So everybody can prove me wrong. I want to be proven wrong so badly. Please come and show me all the ways that I don't understand what you stand for. Because y'all just saw, was Bill Clinton still talking when I came on? I turned him off. Was he still talking? Somebody tell me, was Bill Clinton still talking? Because I know he was talking when I came on and I said, he was talking a few minutes ago and I was taking some notes and I said, I just can't take it no more because they're talking about joy. They're talking about joy. And having seen Bill Clinton in his prime and now, I think we ought to say that Barack Obama is a far more masterful politician, even though he didn't do nothing for us. But let me just say something. It's a very happy convention. It's a give the Democrats their bravo. It's a better convention than the Republican convention. The Republican convention didn't even have all the Republicans because a lot of them don't even deal with Donald Trump. So he has split the Republican Party in 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s. So yes, give them kudos. It was a good convention. Now, after we get beyond the unity and the fact that we're these people, they're better people than the Republicans. Okay. After you get past that, though. After you get past, they have black vendors, and this was all of the black representation. There are ADOS people here. Look at them go. And there are ADOS businesses here selling things. After you get past all of that, are we ever going to talk about policies, or are we going to talk about that, like the Democrats in general? We're going to talk about just to have a general conversation about how Democrats in general are better than Republicans, but we're not going to have any specifics about how you're going to solve the problems. Listen, you got the bottom 50. We're all in the bottom 50. You got even white folk now saying, I can't live like this, right? It ain't what it just used to be. Now, nobody's going to talk to me specifically. We're just going to talk about the child tax credit. We don't have any kind of visionary, transformative ideas about how we're going to put money in people's pockets and make sure they can do what they need to do. We don't have any. Let me tell you, I said this on my show, but I'm going to bring it up again because it deserves to be brought up again. Let me see if I can find it. So it's so very interesting, right? It's so very interesting how these people choose to treat us. Now, let me just see. Where is it at? I want to show you something because it's all so important. Not that. That's not yet. So let me just show you this. And I showed it. If you on Patreon, you saw it last night. I'm just going to spend 2 seconds, just give it a little bit of background. So this is the first page. This thing you see on my left. Just pay attention to the thing on my left right now. I'm going to put this other little thing on, make it small for just 1 second. Don't even look at it. Don't strain your eyes. We get to it in a second. This is the first page of the agenda of the platform of the Democratic Party. The first page of the platform of the Democratic Party is an acknowledgement, the Democratic National Convention land acknowledgement. The Democratic National Convention land acknowledgement. The Democratic National Convention Committee wishes to acknowledge that we gather together to state our values on lands that have been stewarded through many centuries by the ancestors and descendants of tribal nations who have been here since time immemorial. We honor the communities native to this continent and recognize that our country was built on indigenous homelands. We pay respects to the millions of indigenous people throughout the history who have protected our lands, waters, and animals. While we meet in Chicago, we recognize and honor the traditional homelands of the, I'm not pronouncing any of this, I will get it wrong, and don't nobody come yelling at me. We acknowledge the many tribes. Let's go on to the bottom. Democrats continue to support tribes as they advocate for the United States to uphold treaties and trust responsibilities. We applaud that in 2024, under the Biden-Harris administration, the Prairie Band and yes, the P Nation became the first federally recognized tribal nation in Illinois in 175 years. The Department of Interior, and shout out to Deb Haaland over at the Department of Interior. She shows you what it's like to really care about your people. She cares about Native Americans, and she's, like somebody said last night, she's the reason that this is on page 1. She's the reason that they're getting redressed. Unlike our people who get in power and say what they can't do, she got in power and figured out what she could do for her people, and that's why they're on page 1. And the tribal nation in Illinois in 175 years, when the U.S. Department of Interior placed 130 acres of that reservation land near the Cap County into a trust. Now, this is page 1, ladies and gentlemen. Why do I bring it up? Why do I bring up that it's page 1? What does that matter, Yvette? Well, because that's the priority. When you put them on page 1, I told them to do this last night. I'm going to let y'all figure out tonight how many Native Americans there are in Chicago versus Negroes and see who got on page 1. Now, I can show you who got on page 55. Page 55, ladies and gentlemen, is the first time that slavery is mentioned, right? That's page 55. Native Americans, page 1, page 55. You get the politics you deserve. Page 55 is when they mention slavery. We have a long way to go to realize the full promise of America, but we are committed as a party to continuing to continuing the work to build a nation where all people are not only created equal but treated equally throughout their lives. To determine how best to right these wrongs, Democrats support Congress executing a study of reparations and the continuing impacts of slavery. That is one paragraph on page 55. The Native Americans got 4 paragraphs on page 1. That lets you know what the priorities look like. But again, my people are not, we're not reading. We're not reading through the platform. No, we ain't doing none of that. We got joy. We got joy in Kamala's smile and her laugh. We got joy. We got joy. We don't have to look through, actually, what's going on here? What are they promising? No, does she have a platform? No. We got joy, 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 joy juice and joy. We got joy. Nobody, well, I tell you, her smile, that's what we need. What did Bill Clinton say? You better start reading this stuff. Everybody better start acting like this is serious. And somebody sent this to me. Shout out to them. We want to talk about who's getting what and how people get things. Well, also, the Department of Health and Human Services has a little plan for refugees as well. They established IDAs, right? The Refugee IDA program represents an anti-poverty strategy built on asset accumulation for low-income refugee individuals and families to promote refugee economic independence. IDAs are leveraged or matched savings accounts established in qualified financial institutions. In the Refugee IDA program, IDAs are matched with federal funds that have been allocated to match funds from at least 65% of the federal grant award. The funds are intended for the asset goals specified in this NOFO. Although the refugee's client maintains control of all funds that the client deposits in the IDA, including all interest that may accrue on all funds, the client must sign a savings plan agreement. The specifics the funds in the account will be used only for the client's qualified asset goals or for an emergency withdrawal. The objectives of the Refugee IDA programs are to help clients establish IDAs, maintain regular savings habit, participate in the financial institutions of this country, acquire assets to build individual, family, and community resources, increase their knowledge of financial and monetary topics, including developing household budget, advance education, buy homes, gain access to capital, increase the socio-economic development of their communities. Now, I'm just showing you what real politics and real resources looks like, because apparently we all think it comes from joy. So if you think it comes from joy, I'm just trying to show you that it don't come from joy, it comes from politics. Right? It comes from politics. Don't come from no joy. Don't nobody care if you smile, if you laugh, you hurt, you upset. Nobody care about you as a person, what kind of stuff. I didn't ask for no pastor. I didn't ask for none of that. I asked for a politician, and we're supposed to get an exchange. Let me just go down this just a little bit, just to joy. Oh my God, somebody comes here talking to me about joy. I saw somebody just say, joy comes in the morning on the Democratic platform. I'm so happy I didn't go. I will wrestle you off the stage if you start talking to me about joy. And you are not my pastor, and it comes in the morning. For the purposes of this NOFO, the term refugee refers to individuals with the following statuses who are eligible for ORR refugee resettlement programs and benefits: individuals paroled as refugees or asylees under whatever statute that is, refugees admitted under whatever statute that is, asylees, Cuban and Haitian entrants in accordance with the requirements in 45 CFR, any individual granted parole status as a Cuban Haitian entrant or granted any other special status subsequently established under the immigration laws for nationals of Cuba or Haiti, regardless of the status of the individual at the time of assistance was provided. That's interesting. They got a special category for them. That's very interesting. I'll let y'all read that though. That's very interesting. Definition of explanation of terms. Asset goals that we just mentioned, the purchase investment for which the matching funds are intended when used in conjunction with the savings from IDAs of refugee clients. The asset goals specified by a client in the savings plan agreement may be for the benefit of the refugee client or of the dependent children under the age of 21 years of age of the refugee client. The purchase of any asset goal must create an excessive debt burden for the refugee client. Allowable asset goals are defined as follows. Home ownership, costs associated with purchasing a primary residence, including down payment and closing costs when purchasing a home. Before approval of a client to save for this asset, the recipient must assess the likelihood that the client can obtain appropriate financing before the end of the project period. The recipient must also assess the client's abilities to maintain a mortgage, secure additional funds for down payment as necessary, post-secondary education, vocational training, recertification, the cost of tuition fees, professional recertification fees, books, supplies, equipment, including one computer per student if required or recommended by the institution for enrollment or attendance of a refugee student at a post-secondary. Just listen to me. Listen, I'm gonna come out of that now. I've done enough. I've done. Fam, I'm just trying to show you that the government, when it decides it wants to give some real resources out, it knows how to do it. It really knows how to do it. It knows how to, there ain't nothing to know. I hate it when people talk about reparations or when people talk about resources in our community, that even the ones that aren't reparations, well, how are we going to do that? If the government don't know how to do nothing in this country is give away money. The government has put together reparations programs in this country too, and they know how to do it. They know how to give away money. They just don't want to give it to you. They don't want to give it to you. They don't want to give it to me. They don't want to give it to our community. And so I think it is absolutely despicable that we are sitting around here talking about a presidential candidate. Now, I'm not listen, the other side is awful. I'm not, and prove me wrong. Come to the conference and prove me wrong. But I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, listen to me. Listen to me closely, people. The people who I have been blocking in my comments who are just borderline disabled. I want you, and no shot to disabled people. I want you to listen to me. You have, what is this month? Well, we in August. You have until November to convince Kamala Harris that she has to give you a plan in order for you to vote for her. You have that opportunity. Just because I am saying that these things are necessary does not mean I am lining up in opposition to her. Now, I'm not going to vote for her because she's black, because she will not be in my mind the first black anything. I saw what's the little dodo bird name? I tweeted about him a second ago. The little dodo bird man who was with Nicole Hannah-Jones at that event. The little man with the beard, and he didn't know what he was talking about. He was all left. Well, he put together Michael Harriot. Yes, that's his name. He said, well, I don't understand why we're talking about why do we have to sacrifice having the first black president for Palestine? He just says dumb things all the time. He can't help himself. Well, here's the thing. Kamala Harris doesn't represent the first black anything. Well, what do you mean, Yvette? You trying to say she's not black? What do you mean, Yvette? Well, no, this is stupid. When we talk about the first black mayor of Chicago, or the first black this, first black that, we are talking about that in the sense of up from slavery. Oh my God, it's supposed to represent progression for American descendants of slavery. Kamala Harris does not represent that anyway, so it does not matter. She is not the first black in terms of how we use that to represent, look at how far we've come, because she's not us. So I don't care about that, no way. You have to run Kamala like a white woman. You have to run like a white woman. And that means you can't tell me joy. That means you have to tell me what you're going to do for me. I saw you, Kamala, on a call. When you on a Zoom call with the tribal people? Was you on a Zoom call with the Negroes? I don't know what you're going to do. The only thing I know is that Roland Martin is over there with his dumb self talking about we got a lot of people who are running this conference. We are integrated into this convention. We got a lot of businesses. Yes. What does that mean for your politics? We are at near zero wealth. See, the problem is we have a hard time understanding what we need. I'm not gonna be here all day talking today. Like I said, I'm at like 70% with this little virus, so I'm not all the way back. But I'm punching out. But I don't. I no, that's not enough. And let me just say something. You know, I pointed out a second ago. Was it here that the tribal nations, right? I pointed out that they were on the first page, and that slavery only got this first little paragraph here in this short paragraph. Let me point something else out to you. Africa got way more, the continent of Africa and Democrats' posture and platform as it relates to Africa got more attention in their platform than what they're going to do for ADOS, than what they're going to do more for the continent than the West Africans probably who sold you over here. Woo! Let me bring this up. So let me just make sure everybody see this. Then the people who are voting for them. Let me doop. Now, I'm just you see numbers in there, 155 billion and all that stuff, right? I'm just saying that when we talk about priorities, when we talk about little priorities, gosh, my head's doing something. When we talk about these little priorities, right? I'm just trying to tell you that you are not on the priorities list. That's all. That's all I'm trying to tell anybody. Listen, why do we have ma'am, sir, why do we have a platform? By the end of the century, an estimated 40% of the world's population will live in Africa. President Biden should strengthen the partnership of the region and recognizes African nations' critical role in the global stability and economic development, blah, 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 blah. Then you get down to the second one, his pledge to invest $155 billion over 3 years across Africa is a reflection of that commitment. Throughout initiatives like the African Growth and Opportunity Act and Prosper Africa, the administration is deepening economic ties between African countries and the United States, advancing regional integration and helping Africa's immense economic potential for our mutual benefit. Africa deliver, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying that, you know what, to them, I'm gonna tell you something. To them, they probably think, because you gotta understand, you have so many Pan-Africanists talking for us and on our behalf, that they have probably convinced them that doing something for Africa is doing something for us. You have so many Pan-Africanists in these rooms talking to policymakers, talking to Biden and everybody else. They probably have convinced them that doing something for Africa is doing something for ADOS. That's the problem with having Pan-Africanists lead. The Pan-Africanists are not looking at what's wrong in Chicago, Baltimore, Georgia, they're not looking at none of that. Mississippi, they're not looking at none of that. Detroit, they're not kidding. No, you know what you got to do? What did y'all go do for Africa? That's who's talking for you. That's why you got to be careful. Listen, when I tell y'all, hey, you got to go to the conference, you got to go. I'm not talking about this for Yvette. I'm telling you that you have to select new leadership. You have to elevate this group. You have to elevate the ADOS Advocacy Foundation, because ain't nobody else out there fighting for you. Everybody can be looking at TV and be mad and be upset. We can all do that. But what are you actually going to do about it? Like, it's one thing to be like, I'm pissed off. Well, who are you going to elevate to? Who are you going to elevate to replace these people? Yeah, you're mad. Yeah, it's wrong. Who are you going to elevate to give you something transformative? Because we need everything, and we're owed everything, and we're being given nothing. We're not even being given an agenda. They don't even giving us lies no more. Y'all remember when Obama wasn't giving nothing specific, and everybody said, Steve Harvey and them said, oh, it's like Steve Harvey know anything about anything. Y'all don't know. He said it again, Richard. Y'all don't know nothing about politics. You can't be talking about no race. You want to get nowhere. You don't do nothing. You can't do nothing. You big goofy country man. If you don't sit somewhere down at your little zoot suits and shut up and talk about something that you know something about, you can't be doing nothing if you can't be doing nothing if they don't know about politics. That's what you said last time, and you were wrong and dumb and loud. Steve Harvey, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. And that green suit still seared in my eye somewhere, that ugly thing. But you were wrong then and you're wrong now. You have to get the people to talk about it. They have to, your politicians have to make a commitment to you. And you cannot be worried about what it costs them if they make a commitment to you. Because you need it too much to be worried about that. Hey, listen, you know what I want? People who don't need nothing, stop talking for us. If you live in a nice house, you live good, you got a good radio show, stop talking about us. We don't want you to talk about us. Go somewhere and sit down. If you living good off just being loud and goofy and country, then just go sit down and do your work. But you don't need to do your work and my work. That's my work. And y'all are in the way. All of you Steve Harvey, goofy, goofball dummies, you just in the way. What's the other little skinny one that be dressing up like somebody's grandmama? You in the way. Ricky Smiley, you in the way. Y'all are all in the way. You don't read enough books. You don't pay enough attention to be able to know what's at stake, but you always somewhere talking loud. And everybody's tired of y'all. We're all tired of you talking loud, being wrong. Listen, Obama was a test. And y'all were all wrong. Obama was a test of whether or not we could get our politics right. That's what Obama was a test of. And we got it all wrong. And now they back. Hold on. Now they back too. What they at? Didn't I have a picture of them up here too? They back. They was back last night. Y'all saw? Did y'all see them last night? Something really caught my ears last night. Everybody, y'all, we don't hold people. That's another problem. We don't hold people accountable for being wrong. Steve Harvey, you were wrong. You said Obama was going to do something. He's second term. Y'all just don't know what you're talking about. You cussed out Tabby Smiley. You cussed out Carnell West. And you don't have enough sense to come in out of the rain. You don't have enough sense to know when you were wrong. Maybe I shouldn't keep doing this. Maybe I don't know how to do this. Listen, if I get on stage and try to tell some jokes and I bomb, I'm not going to probably get on stage next week and pretend like I'm real good at this. I'm not going to write a book on how to do comedy and say I'm good at this. I'm not going to show up and try to interview comedians and talk about how to write a good joke. I might not be good at this. But y'all keep letting people not be good at this in politics, and that has consequences. Y'all let people who don't stand for y'all, who don't care about y'all, stand in front of people and presidents, and that has consequences. This man shouldn't be allowed to speak for you. When does Steve Harvey ever demonstrate that he knows one thing about politics? He said, I'm gonna come up here and let this woman give her softball questions again because I want to see her elected. By what right do you get to decide who is elected, you moron? You don't know nothing about nothing. You were wrong, and we don't hold people accountable when they be wrong. These people have been wrong time and time again. They do not know enough. They cannot hold anybody accountable, and they don't need anything. You are too wealthy to need anything. I need people who need something or represent somebody who needs something to talk to these people. But you let these court gestures get in the way every time, and there will be a consequence for your media being Steve Harvey. There will be a consequence for Kamala Harris deciding that she ain't got to sit down with no serious person, not just us, but she ain't got to sit down with reporters. There will be consequences for that. There will be. Everybody got excited again. Michelle and Barack. And Michelle said something very interesting. Especially when I look at her house. Michelle said, we want something like we don't benefit from generational wealth, from passing it down. Well, Michelle, your kids will. And it's because of the ADOS vote. Your kids absolutely will benefit from that, Michelle. Like, we won't, but you will. Don't include us in that. Then you say something about, your parents were suspicious of people who had too much or whatever. I agree with them, but you have too much now, right? We have a lot of people in our community who just leave and go to Martha's Vineyard. There are mansions in Chicago, even if you wanted one of them. You got to, y'all go to the whitest places, and then we let you come back home talking about us and to us. Yeah, it's a problem. But that's not even the biggest thing. Somebody brought up a quote. I think it was Non-Human Media. And I was looking at it because it was just very interesting. Let me see if I can find it again. Because they got Oprah coming out. Y'all saw they got Oprah coming out too, right? Shit. But let me see if I can find this. Because it's a lot going on. It really is. But hold on a second. Let me see. Hold on. No. Where is it at? No. Gosh, where is it at? I got another one. No, this might be. No, that's not it. What is it? Did I bring it? Did I bring it out? Nah, this is. I was just gonna go through this to show you what they was talking about in terms of what they not gonna do with what they not like. Go through this and look. Go through this and look at all the stuff they talk about doing for us. Right? Just go through it and take a look. First of all, what is a minority serving institution? Listen, something only happened to us. It only happened to ADOS. We never should have allowed them to create minority serving institutions or Hispanic serving institutions. No, HBCUs came about for a certain reason. By law, we were not allowed to go to these schools. We were segregated from white schools. We didn't have anything, so we had to have HBCUs. Y'all can go to whatever school y'all want to. Hispanics are white. Y'all can go wherever y'all want to go. There is no minority. There should be no HSI. We allowed everybody to come along and say, hey, they got HBCU. We want one too. We want an HSI. We want one too. And allowed everybody to get what we had and had never lived through what we lived through. A minority serving institution. What is a minority? You are white. Y'all integrate into whiteness within one generation. Most of the time, you are white. You were considered white. The only time you decided not to be considered white when we talk about Hispanics is because you decided that you needed to compete with Negroes for resources. So you created a new category. How in the world? Ain't never been no such thing as one crow. What are we allowing these people to do? Skip through this little agenda and see. Right? Just skip through this. If you get a chance, skip through this Democratic platform and look at the little dumb stuff they trying to promise us along with everybody else. It should all be our money. Ain't nobody been through slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, mass incarceration, but we gonna make everything the same. They get HBCUs, but they get HSIs, and we got minority serving institutions. They get money by what right? By what right does a minority serving institution? By what right does a Hispanic serving institution? You have not lived through, and you didn't build a country. Child, one crow don't sound right because it's a lie. There's no such thing as no one crow. But everything we do, they got to come along and say it happened to us too. And they'll find one Mexican running out of the back door of a juke joint when the Klan came in and swear the same thing that happened to y'all happened to us. No. What are we even talking about? I do not know. But let me just show you, and I want to show you one thing that shows what, because if you go through this bill too, let me see if I can go through it. This platform. Black households, blah, 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 owning a business. We don't have businesses. We only have LLC paperwork. Here's another thing. Since the pandemic, the share of black households owning a business has more than doubled. No. These are undercapitalized. This is undercapitalized paperwork. This is not a business. No, this is another lie in the platform. No, we don't have they really started a lot of they started a lot of businesses, during the pandemic. No, we started hustling and trying to figure out a way to rob Peter to pay Paul. And that ain't have nothing to do with you, Joe Biden. They ain't gonna have nothing to do with you, Kamala Harris. That's not what happened. You gonna take credit for us starting a business. You didn't give us no extra money to start no business. You didn't give us a wash of access to capital. How are you taking credit for that? People just say anything and we let them say it. And we don't even get nothing by ourselves. Everything is black and Latino, black and Latino, black and Latino, black and Latino. We are rooting out bias of home appraisal, which perpetrates the racial wealth gap by unjustly undervaluing millions of black and Latino owned homes. No, I've seen a bunch of articles about Negroes. I ain't seen nothing about a Latino. But again, we can't get nothing by ourselves. If you give us something, that's why we can't make no headway. Because everything, we supposed to have 100% of this stuff because America did it to us. You came here voluntarily. You don't get none of this. Now, you should not be discriminated against, but all this other stuff we talking about, what is going on? We don't have nothing by ourselves. We have given everybody access. Once again, including black and Latino, since day one, the administration has championed. This is the platform. It ain't telling me nothing it's doing for me. It's telling me stuff that it has done that it ain't did. Go check out this platform. If you think I'm lying, go check out. Go look it up. Since day one, the administration has championed an ambitious equity and racial justice agenda to ensure the full and fair participation of all communities in our economy and democracy, and to ensure the promise of America for everyone, including Black, Latino. What? You included me? Oh, let me move on. I ain't got time for this old stupid platform. The American Rescue Plan has provided debt forgiveness for Black and socially disadvantaged farmers. Again, and listen, it wasn't socially disadvantaged farmers who faced anti-ADOS racism. They weren't sharecroppers. They didn't go through that stuff. They were talking about ADOS farmers, which they were calling Black farmers during that time period. What are we talking about? Today, Black wealth has climbed 60%. This is a lie. Black wealth has not climbed 60%. There's a lie in your platform. This is disgusting. This is disgusting stuff. Look at this. Hold on a second. I want you to look at this. The wealth gap. And Black, I don't want you, I'm taking myself in mind. The wealth gap, white and Black Americans, is nearly as large today. This was in 2022, this article. As large today as it was in the 1950s. See, you see? You see where it just became stagnant and the line's just there from slavery, dropped down, and then the line's just there. And that's not because nothing we didn't do. Large racial disparities in wealth holding began to decline after slavery ended. The decline slowed in the segregation era, accelerated in the civil rights era, and has reversed since the 1980s. What are they lying about? Joe Biden told that lie too. Liar. Oh, nobody reduced the racial wealth. You couldn't even do that in 4 years. You will have to pay reparations to do that if you did that in 4 years, if you did that during your administration. And y'all got the Obamas up there. Y'all got the Obamas up there like they did something. Didn't even try. First Black president, and he opposed reparations. And everybody's out there now loving him to death. Like he did something for somebody. This was Obama. When Michelle says our people, when Michelle says we don't have generational wealth, we'll never know generational wealth. Well, Michelle, Malia, and Sasha will, but you had a role. Your husband had a role in that. Even if you want to do it in your second term, you ain't going to be reelected. You could say, yes, I agree with reparations. Reparations should happen, and I didn't do it in my administration because, no, you started talking about how immigrants would feel. That's what you told Ta-Nehisi Coates. And we're going to let that man stand on that stage and his wife say generational wealth is not something we have. It ain't nothing your husband fought for either. And you ask me why. Well, why do you think a person needs to be ADOS? Because at least they need to have known a sharecropper. At least they need to have known somebody when the Klan ran through, somebody who saw the Klan run through their neighborhood. They have to know that. You got to know somebody who knew what that feels like. That ain't him, and that ain't Kamala. This is what Obama said about reparations. What I saw during my presidency was the politics of white resistance and resentment, the talk of welfare queens and the talk of undeserving poor, and the backlash against affirmative action, he said, adding that all that made the prospect of actually proposing any kind of coherent, meaningful reparations program struck me as politically not only a non-starter, but potentially counterproductive. Your husband said it was counterproductive, Michelle. And he said more than that to Ta-Nehisi Coates. He didn't just call it counterproductive. He said, what would immigrants think? Nobody ever asked that. When the Japanese Americans got their money, nobody said, what would immigrants think? Nobody said that. People asked, what is the just thing to do? And it is degrading. It is insufferable for a president who now lives on Martha's Vineyard, on the lake. It is who grew up in a white life made possible by his white grandparents to now who got elected as the first black president, who killed reparations, because you have now the cover. Every other white politician has the cover of Barack Obama saying, no, what would immigrants think? They would say I wouldn't have any part of this, because his lens and his mindset is that of an immigrant. When you ask me, Yvette, why does that matter so much to me? Because I know his lens ain't my lens. I know how he views life is not how I view life. He doesn't know what I know. He doesn't know what you know. He hasn't suffered what you suffer. He hasn't seen the feet of old people who have had to work like that and work jobs that they shouldn't have had to work. That's not his life. He went to Punahou High School. He is not one of us. And so, yes, when I talk about Kamala going to Westmount, it means something to me because it says something about what she doesn't know and who she's not. You have no connection to the people who pick cotton. You have no connection to people who ran off their farms. You have no connection to those people who were farming and the Department of Agriculture wouldn't give them loans or gave them dead chickens. Y'all remember the article where they gave them dead chickens? That's not too long ago. You have no connection to those people. So if you don't have any connection to those people, I can't even pull on your heartstrings. You're the same as a white person to me. I can't pull on your heartstrings and say, hey, remember your uncle? I researched your history. Your great-grandfather, remember him? I can't say that to you. You don't have it in you. Even if you become a corrupt as an ADOS politician, I feel like there's something I can pull. There's some heart I can tug. I can't tug at nothing with you. Or Brahmin and Jamaican, I ain't got nothing there. I don't have nothing there. Obama viewed this as totally a political calculation. He viewed this as this was always about political calculus to him, because he doesn't know what it's like to come from that. He doesn't have any history. Why does it keep getting so bright in here? What's going on with you? You going through something? The light? Like, he doesn't have any of that. So that's why I want them to be that person or whatever, to be anchored in something. I'm not trying to, it's not something to be mean about. That's not what I'm talking about. It's light doing. Anyway, fam, but this light, I don't know whether it's this light or is it this light? Which one of y'all just keep lighting up? Anyway, fam, I done talked too much, and the light's doing whatever, but I'm gonna go to calls in a second. I'll be back. And I try to figure out what's going on with that light, but if not, it'll be what it is, and we can have the conversation. All right, fam.
Too much going on. A lot of I listened to I was talking to a friend of mine today, and she asked me if I listened to Michelle's speech, the rock speech. And I was like, no. I'm 62. She has to be about 55, 58. And I think most people view life through the lens of me, mines, and I, not we, us, and ours,
Mm-hmm.
because they can only see life through their own anecdotal life experiences. When I talk to her, the conversations usually go, well, my mother had, and my father went to school, and all of us went to college, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But that is not the majority of across America.
Mm-hmm. Turn down your background. I think your background is causing some little friction. Turn down your background for me.
Okay. I think that might be a fan. It's still warm here in Chicago. It's still warm in Chicago.
Oh, okay, no, just make sure you get your sound down. The fan is fine. Just make sure you don't have any background with us talking. Because the fan is fine.
Ooh, I know what it is. I still got the TV up, Yvette.
Okay. I knew I heard feedback.
I'm going to turn it down. I'm a little bit slow tonight.
Yeah, because I already messed up at first. I didn't have the mute. I cut the mute off when I go to break. Y'all might hear me in here hollering and going on, dancing and do what. But so I already just make sure. Ah,
My most
you fine.
sincere apology.
Okay, good.
But I remember the show where we talked about the woman on the episode of Vice who, in her interview, said, "I didn't get my freedom until 1963," and people were commenting like, "Well, how is it that she didn't know?" As if plantations were plantation. A lot of them on the same block, where neighborhoods are in Chicago or New York or anything. And, I said, well, it's not impossible because of the fact that just the plantations were far spread out deep in the woods, and it could absolutely happen. But to bring it back to today, I think our biggest issue is most Americans, most ADOS Americans, because we are inundated with successful, supposedly blacks on television and in media and on the radio all day, that people actually think that they're all right. That this onslaught of tax cuts that happened, mechanization that has happened, artificial intelligence that has happened, mass immigration that has happened. ADOS and what you and Antonio are doing is literally the last house on the block for us, because all these things are going to be the nail in the coffin of ADOS if we don't act and act quickly. And it almost hurts me when I talk to older people, and oftentimes my response to them is, the problem is you are not in competition with this younger generation of people with all of this mechanism. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm gonna let you. I want you to get your last word in because I want to get somebody else in. So but yeah, I agree with you.
Right. Yeah, you're not in competition. You have your pension, you have Social Security, you have all of these things that make life possible for you based on timing. Not how smart you were, but just the fact that you were timed perfectly to take advantage of all of this stuff. And this stuff just simply isn't here today.
Yeah, they don't understand. They really believe that they did it.
I have my ticket already.
Oh, appreciate you, fam. I look forward to seeing you. That's the real work. That's the real work. So thank you, fam. And they really do believe that they built it. I appreciate you, fam, for calling. I'm gonna get to another caller because the queue is full. I just want to make sure we get to as many people as we can. But yeah, they really believe that like they built this moment. They're like, no, we walked to school or whatever. No. That's not the thing that builds a life, right? No, you came when there was factory work and the factory work was paying really good money. Right, I told you. I remember seeing my daddy's W-2 in 1992, and he made $60,000 as a factory worker. Do you know what that is in today's money? Child, he owed me some money. Anyway, 513. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, sis, I'm calling from Texas.
What's going on, Texas? What at in Texas? Where you at in Texas?
I will see you in October. I just want to say, Obama is not a hero. He stole 230 years of housing gains from Black Americans. Obama is not a hero. He allowed Steve Mnuchin and One West Bank to basically rob us of our housing. And we are now homeless. Homelessness is on the increase. Homelessness is against the law. The Supreme Court said you don't have the right to sleep outside. If you look at California right now, we are 7% of the population, 46% of the homeless population, and they are being excavated. That means they're tearing down those tents, they're tearing down them shanty towns, and there is nowhere for them to run. Kamala Harris had the opportunity to prosecute Steve Mnuchin and One West Bank for the subprime mortgage loans that they was running against middle-class Americans who were trying to own their homes. She did not. He then went to become an Obama cabinet or something for, where did he operate in? Some sort of financial position. He became the head of a finance or whatever. Anyway, these are not our friends. And I had the biggest argument with a brother today who swore up and down that if Trump got in, he was going to be king, he was going to be dictator, and we should be more scared of Project 2025 than anything the Democrats is doing. I had to remind him that it was under the Obama era that we lost this significant milestone of housing gains. It seems to me that nobody cares what we lose in America as Black Americans, as Adolph's family. We are losing when we get this massive income. Listen here, Amazon just brought in 750 robots to replace 100,000 workers, okay? Robotics and AI is going to fundamentally change our work life. We will not have access to currency. Eventually, they're going to go to digital currency, and we don't have any equity built up in our housing to back us up. They are forcing us into homelessness. And like you said, if they want to support a group, they'll give them the support. So a migrant can come here and get 2 years free housing. They can get education. They can get free health care. They can get food stamps, and ain't nobody calling them names. Ain't nobody calling them lazy.
Wait a minute. Nobody's calling them welfare queens? But they don't get called welfare queens, family?
Oh, no, ma'am. They family people. They don't get offered abortions. They get ways to maintain their families. so that their families aren't broken up. There is a great concern of keeping their families together. However, right now, there's a case of a child in Detroit who a judge saw was asleep on a field trip in his courtroom. She was asleep because she was homeless. And he put her in prison garb, and he put her in handcuffs.
But hold on, I want you to pause. I want you to pause right there, family. I think that man is the best representation. I don't know how old he is, but I think he's the best representation of boomer logic. Like, that has been their idea of how they agree with white folk in terms of that's how you deal with young folk who act out of turn. Don't look at what's wrong with them. Don't look at why they sleep. Don't look at why they not, you being asleep is disrespecting me. And so I'm going to put you in handcuffs. I'm going to lock you up. I feel like I know what you're talking about. And he also has a misogyny problem, I think, too. But let me just say, you probably will look in and see some stuff he done to men, too. But what I'm going to say is, he is the quintessential. I believe certain things come to the light during a certain time for a reason. He is the best representation, family, of everything that is wrong with these old Negroes who got good jobs. You did that to a child that is supposed to be the child of your own tribe, your own community. You didn't investigate what was wrong with her, why she was asleep. I'm going to put her in cuffs and I'm gonna be abusive to her. That's who they are. But go on, fam, you doing good.
And this is the state of black youth who are growing up in America, who are homeless, who are impoverished and acting out because they don't have the safety and the equity of housing that America under Barack Obama. I'm not even talking about Jim Crow. I'm not even talking about redlining. I'm talking about in our lifetime, Barack Obama conspired with mutual fund and hedge fund managers to create ghetto loans that targeted black people who were already under the water with high interest mortgage loans, and they took 230 years of housing gains. We should be screaming from the top of our lungs that is not our friend.
And hold on.
Then Hillary Clinton and the Clintons.
And hold on, fam. We got to talk about who's on stage tonight, too. The person who ended welfare as we know it and made it into some little block grant trash was Bill Clinton. It wasn't a Republican.
He took us off welfare, but didn't give us job training or programs.
Nope.
The migrant comes here, they have specific job training programs to get them into culinary arts, to help them build their restaurants, to help them build their businesses. All we get is nothing. And I can't understand for the life of me. I had an argument with a brother today. And I explained to him the third party was SNCC. The third party was Martin Luther King. At one point, Jesse Jackson was that candidate who didn't have a chance in hell, but they applauded him tonight. But at one time, Betty Lou Haber had to fight the DNC to be seen. She had to fight to be heard. We were never included. We had to fight to get ourselves.
Hold on, fam. Why they was talking about Fannie Lou Hamer like her spirit was in the room with them?
Child, and she cried, and she was kidnapped, and she was beaten, and she told them they hold me hostage, and they come get me with a gun and force me to work for free. It's not sharecropping, it's slavery. We need help. I'm afraid. And in 2024, listen, y'all, homelessness is against the law. It's illegal to sleep on the street.
And in your car. They said in your car, too. Can't be done sleeping in that car. Don't do that van life stuff no more.
And with BlackRock and all of these other private equity investment and real estate investment firms eating up all of the real estate in our cities, there is nowhere for us we can afford. Wake up. Stop playing the game. Brother was so mad at me. He said, well, you want Trump in. You want Trump, and he orange, and he going to be a king and a dictator. You ain't worried about Project 2025. No. Why is your candidate bad? Why did your candidate keep people locked up past their constitutional time to be served in order to use them as slave labor? Why didn't your candidate prosecute Steve Mnuchin and One West Bank and them illegal bank loans? Why are you propping her up as a black woman so that you can play turn down for what? I'm so excited for October. I hope everybody is there. I love you, Yvette. Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you. That was a word. I appreciate that call. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you in October, too. Oh, my goodness. You have a good one, fam. Woo! That fired up. Yeah, y'all want to sing that. Y'all want it. It was unity in the room. And y'all forgot what these Democrats did to you. Did to us. They on Martha's Vineyard, child. Let me go to the next call. Well, she dropped a bomb. I appreciate that. 617, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello?
What's going on, fam? How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, fam.
Okay. My name is Mr. Johnson, and people that know me very well, they call me Zoe and Yvette. I just want to say, my wife, she says hello.
Hey!
And we love and support you and Tone, and we riding with you to the wheels fall off. But the reason I called you tonight is because I just wanted to let you, Tone, all your supporters in the United States of America know that Negro that's known as ZO supports you and Tone. And Yvette, I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Will do.
And one of these days, if I make it alive to see you, I will meet you in person and be honored to be in your presence. And that's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate you, friend.
Please keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And I'm out.
All right, appreciate it, fam. Absolutely. We're gonna keep doing it, but everybody, people keep playing. I'm tired of people playing. No, this is not a game. This is life. This is your life. This is your child's life. This is your nephew's life. This is your son, daughter, like cousin, like best friend. This is your life. You cannot play with it in this way. And this is what you do when you do politics like this. You are playing with your life in a way that doesn't make a lot of sense. So let me go to my next caller. I'm going to 770. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Juanita, and I'm calling from Atlanta.
Hey, Juanita, what's going on? What's on your mind?
Well, me and that other gentleman, we must be the only two women that got sense in America. because I just got through listening to the convention in a room full of boomers, and they all yippee-yah-yah-yah over what's being said. And I don't even talk to them anymore because I made the mistake of asking one of them. I said, okay, so what's Kamala's policy? And they looked at me like I had two heads. Like, what do you mean, what's her policy? All I got is I just get so impatient with my generation that I don't even mess with them anymore. But all I got to say is that one of the reasons it's hard for us to join y'all is because then we would have to admit that we spent our entire lives not doing what we needed to do for our children and our grandchildren. We would have to admit to being wrong and responsible. And it's not too many people that's got enough humility to do that. And that's the problem. That's a big part of the problem. It's all of these so-called spiritual Christians, none of them want to be wrong. And I'm just going to leave it like that.
Oh, none of them want to be wrong. Yeah, and they are wrong. They dead wrong. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you. Oh, I know.
They don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, but they is wrong. You is wrong. But I appreciate you being in the room.
It's like my mom used to say, when you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah, when you're wrong, you just got to own it. Hey, people will be like, well, I don't know if it. No, I have been wrong before. I have admitted I was wrong on social media. Ooh, like when I'm wrong, I'm the first person who say, I might have messed up. That's how I approach when.
It's a lot easier to blame your children and your grandchildren for not prospering like you are, as opposed to looking at what you did not do to ensure that they would prosper. And now they out here, you know, like the young lady said, you being homeless, gotta come back home and live with you, live 2 or 3 different folks to an apartment, and doing all kinds of things, trying to survive out here. And you know, it's just bad. I mean, oh Jesus! But what I wanted to say is that it's really bad because now the white folks are starting to suffer.
Yeah.
And they wondering,
no, you're right,
what's going to happen with their kids that their kids cannot afford to buy homes, and their kids got student loan debt. And I'm sitting up there thinking, we halfway to extinction, and they just now crying, and now the world is supposed to stop.
Yep. You know how many white folks I don't watch crying in their cars and videos? Like the bottom half of America is going to have some issues, especially the bottom 25. And the white folks who have found themselves in that, we all in that bottom. It's just nearly none of us who are not there. They don't know what to do. They're just in the car. I saw a man who, I think he painted for a living or something in the car. He was snot. I don't know, my family, I got to take care of my family. And you know, white men are dangerous when they can't take care of their family. They'll take everybody with them. They'll leave Earth and take everybody with them.
They kill everybody, including the damn dog.
Yes,
but you know, the thing is that when you see that, you know, and when you see people talking about credit card debt and how people are living off their credit cards, and now that's, you know, not working. And it's just that it's not a matter of the Trump. It's a matter of 50, 60 years of bad policy from Democrats that my generation never thought to challenge them on. We just voted Democrat and accepted whatever and was happy for those affirmative action jobs. And you know that two people went to college, and the rest could still go work at Ford or whatever.
Yep, you could always go work at the factory. That's what my parents used to say. You could always work at the factory and the post office. You can always go work. Those jobs were waiting.
And there's no more factory, and there's almost no post office.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's the time is over with. I had this conversation with someone. The time is over where you can just graduate from high school, get you a good job somewhere, and buy a home and support your family. Those days are gone, and they haven't been here for about 25, 30 years. And
that's still the advice the old folk giving, though. Well, I tell you what, when I was your age, you ain't kept up with life. Like, life moves fast. And what happens is that a lot of our boomers and silent Gen 2 have not kept up with life. So when you talk to them about stuff, they believe life still works the way it worked. No, you did not protect that way of life to be still here for your kids. You went to work and you came home and you didn't do politics, and that's not enough and they don't even understand, like, yeah, you're right. I didn't do anything. I just went to work and came home, and I thought life was going to take care of itself. No, you have to always protect the rights and build the wealth of that to be able to pass it down. You don't get to, especially as an oppressed group. Nobody does, but you don't get to just go to work and come home. And that's what our generation did. They went to work and they came home, and we are living the consequence of people who didn't do good politics, if they did politics at all.
No, I can tell you, didn't nobody do no politics. They thought that all of those little laws and agreements and whatever was consent decrees, they thought that was going to be what it was going to be forever, and did not know, and nobody told them that, no, you have to continue to do politics if you want to secure your children and your grandchildren's future.
I mean,
I can tell you that's thought.
And let me tell you, you're right. You got y'all all, hold on one second, fam. Y'all all got people in your family, right? Old people, like, who never thought about politics, never thought about city council meeting, never thought about, any of the stuff in their community that controls zoning and all that stuff. They don't think about that. They just lived. It must be nice. Like to just go to work, come home, watch the ball game, watch TV, get up and do the same mundane job day after day, whether that's factory worker, whether that's a receptionist, or whether that's a regular government job, and be secure. That's life. Now, the story they tell y'all is different. No, I did so-and-so. I almost died. Oh, Negro, stop lying. Like, a lot of us were there.
It wasn't. I can tell you that it was not like that. That when I first started working, people were still going to work and knowing that if they stayed there 25, 30 years, that they were going to get a pension, a good pension. They were going to get free health care for the rest of their life. And, they were going to get their Social Security. And they were going to be able to live a good life.
Yeah.
And my group was the last group that was able to do that. Okay? The folks that came after me, there was no more staying at, I don't say, staying at AT&T or the phone company or the light company or the gas company or whatever for 25, 30 years and getting that nice pension and collecting Social Security. It started changing that. It started changing in the 80s.
Yep.
People just had their head, Boulay just had their head in the sand.
They weren't paying attention. All those changes were happening.
And didn't want to realize
Reagan.
what the hell was going on. But what we got going on now started back then. If you really sit down and look at it. It started in the 80s. The stuff that's going on today. And I tell people that white people make plans, and what's going on now about this 2025, and everybody running around here talking. This mess started in the 80s. This mess started when Reagan and the CIA flooded our neighborhoods with crack.
It did.
It started.
You right.
Back then.
You're right. You're right. And even when we talk about jobs, Reagan and the unions and all that stuff, that was decimating jobs. And what the crack was one thing, and the way he decimated workers, right? And our people were not paying. And we thought the solution was just to vote Democrat.
The union.
Yeah.
That was the beginning. And Negroes sat up there and didn't have nothing to say about it because they said, well, they hardly know no black folks up in there, no way.
Child, listen. I don't want to tell them. I don't want to tell them.
Nothing to do with us.
Fam, listen. I don't want to tell them. I don't want to tell them my own family, but I will. My own daddy said. I remember years ago. He said it was years ago, and I said I was young. I said they get rid of the union. Unions. They anti-business. You got to be on the side of business. You's a nigga. Like I'm not trying to. Like they had no self-awareness. Like, you don't get to be ADOS and try to be anti-union and be on the side of the business, man. But they did. They got to live this life where, like, they could do anything. They could fly if they wanted to. You don't get to be like, well, I don't really like the union. You don't get to not like the union. Yeah, Bill Clinton and NAFTA, they sat around and watched all these factories and stuff go overseas. And so your child, so you were able to make a life, mother, father, all of y'all's mama's daddy, but from factory work. Well, then you don't get to watch the factory work leave because you're supposed to ask yourself, what is my child going to do if the because the factory work is always a fail safe. If you can't go to school or whatever, at least you can work at the factory.
If you can't do nothing else, you could go to the factory.
Yep.
If you can't do nothing else, when you went to school, back when I went to school, they still had what they call shop, and they taught you how to fix cars, or you did camp carpentry, and they had whole high schools that didn't do nothing but teach you trades to get you ready to get into the union.
Mm-hmm. People forget about somebody in the chat just brought up the air traffic controllers.
To get you in the union, you would know enough to be able to go out there and get a job.
Yep.
It's not like that now.
I know you.
Really
absolutely. I'm gonna let you go, fam. But you're absolutely right, and I appreciate your call because you can speak because you spoke from a first-hand perspective. I absolutely appreciate that, fam. You right about it, and you have a great day. I appreciate you. You right.
I appreciate you, and I see you in October.
See you in October, fam. All right. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, you're right. Yeah. And I don't mean to use the N word, but I'm saying, like, I understood this as a very young person. Like, it doesn't make any sense for you to try to take a pro-business stance. Right? Like, in terms of my dad, like, that don't make no sense. And we argued about it. I don't argue with my dad about everything. The Iraq war, everything. He was wrong about everything. But anyway, that's why I'm like, And then, but they don't remember, like, didn't I tell you this wasn't going, well, you know, child. Go on. I ain't one political expert in this family, apparently. Woo. But let me go on to the next call. Great call, fam. Appreciate it. 412, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, I had you on speaker. How are you, Yvette?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. My name is Renee. I'm just listening to your program tonight, and my blood is boiling. I'm not even watching the Democratic convention because I know it's about nothing. I know what they're going to say, the same old rope thing, and they're not. But I'm just so, you know, it just angers me how all these black people, the way you got your gatekeepers out there, you know, and I think that they know we're fighting back. This is what I think. That's why it's so hard for them to understand. We're fighting back harder against them, and they know it. The more they put out there, the more we're fighting back. And they see that we're fighting back, that it's not going to just be an easy walk for Kamala to walk herself in there in office. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't vote for her. I may end up sitting on a couch. I can't do down ballot because I'm not voting for any Dems. I'm done.
But no. I think well, there could be
I'm not.
There could be an independent. And let me just say, Democrats and Republicans are different depending on where you live. Right, depending on like a Georgia Democrat is not the same as a Louisville Democrat is not the same. So I would look up these people and figure out what they stand for and what they're and see if it aligns with anything. And listen, if you are in a place and you find a Republican who you think is good on issues, then you can vote for that person. If you know, so I think I am. So yeah, I think you go out to make your voice heard regardless, even if you don't do the top of the ticket. The ADOS Advocacy Foundation has no official position, just for anybody asking. Y'all not gonna beat me into submission, kick me. But like, you know, I do think you.
I don't want anybody coming after you, and it's even not about that. It's about the policies they're doing now. I've never seen all of this with the new stuff they're going on. I'm very conservative in some things. I just can't vote for them for. It's just what it is. You know, I'm a vote independent. I'm in the state of North Carolina.
Okay.
I see we're being gentrified. I see we have congressmen. She's an older lady. Her name is, I forgot her name. She always wear the hat.
she said her name is, I forgot her name.
She old mammy too. All of them old mammies. All of them. Look, I'm just talking about all of them. I'm talking about from Maxine Waters to all of them. They all over 70 years old. They need to go. But I need somebody who can actually speak for us. I mean, I'm 51 years old, but I don't believe in that. We're not in the 1960s anymore. And I had a great talk with my great-grandfather, who told me, and he told me this several years ago, and that's why I'm so hard. He said, they made a mistake by settling. They said the civil rights leaders made a mistake by settling. And honest to God, I'm seeing that now. And he wasn't lying.
Well, I don't think, you know what? I disagree with that. Let me tell you what I think. I think that movement got what that movement could get. And then the leader of that movement got murdered. You remember that Martin Luther King was fighting for economic inclusion. He had pivoted when he was murdered. The problem that happened is that somebody has to keep pushing though. Like after they take him out on that balcony, somebody has to keep pushing the economic inclusion. When he says we're coming to get our check and so on and so forth, and he pivots, once he falls on that balcony, somebody has to pick that up and say, I don't care if I fall too, I'm gonna pick this up and I'm gonna run this ball. And that did not happen. Right. And that is the problem. Like nobody, one of the greatest things you have to demand of your leaders, and it's not right. You know, I'm not talking about what's right, but we are an oppressed group. And so you have to have a leader who is willing to make the ultimate sacrifice if that happens. And you only had one. Right. Now, other people died during that period. So I'm not saying you only had one during that movement. You had many during that movement who made and were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. But after King was slain on that balcony, the main people who were leaders alongside King, to me, they ran. And they ran for bags. They went and they got political stuff and they got jobs and they got mayorships and all kinds of things. But they were not willing to do the work of, hey, if I have to make, because this job of fighting for the oppressed sometimes will call for the ultimate sacrifice. And after King got laid down on that balcony and nobody came and said, I'm willing to pick this up. And if I have to make the same sacrifice the King did, I will. So I think they did the right thing. We needed the rights. We needed to be able to go where we wanted to go. You shouldn't be able to tell us what we can't do and what we can't be. But there was supposed to be a continuation that never happened because a lot of people got real scared real quick. And so that is my problem. Everybody who ran and scattered in 10,000 different directions after King lay dead on that patio in Tennessee.
You're right. But my whole thing with that is that too, they ran. Now they want to put everybody on our back. You got your illegals coming in here.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody, they want to be inclusive with our group. My people didn't fight for no illegal immigrants.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Everybody to the exclusion. They didn't fight for gender equality. None of that. That's not what they died for.
Well, our leaders lost the plot a long time ago.
And when they keep putting things on our back,
they lost the plot a long time ago.
I just can't.
No, I agree. They lost the. I agree. I'm gonna try to
think about it a little bit more, but
no. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with that part of it. I think our leaders. No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm gonna let you go, but I agree with you. I think our leaders lost the plot a long time ago. They decided they were going to be ingratiating to whoever, any brown people, any disadvantaged people, and that was not the fight. Not to say you have to be mean or to anybody, but they took on everybody else's fight. They took on everybody else's fight as our fight. It was a very lazy way and non-specific way of doing politics. Listen, if we haven't achieved, then your job is to keep our fight going. And to the extent to which you ally with people is that they're going to help with our fight. They gave up our fight and ceded ground. So you are absolutely right in terms of what happened and how it happened. So I'm not disagreeing with you there, but I want to thank you for calling in. I appreciate you.
Love you.
Love you back.
All day.
All right, you have a good one.
Bye.
They lost the plot. They just lost the plot. Like and I think, somebody may have told them, like, they believed in the browning of America was going to be transformative. There's a lot of stuff that they believed that it didn't make any sense to believe, but it is what it is. 415, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, this is Denise in San Francisco.
Hey, what's going on, Denise?
I cannot even watch that Democratic stuff on television. It just makes my blood boil.
Oh.
And I'm totally amazed that black people have woke up to the fact that Kamala Harris, Obama, Martin, that Martin guy, they're outsiders who are just trying to capitalize off of what the descendants of the slaves have been through and need to do. That's all. They're outsiders. What, you're going to try to elect an outsider who doesn't even know about your plight, doesn't care about your plight, but can use your plight to get benefits?
Mm-hmm.
What do black people think it now?
I don't know.
Roland Martin, and all of people. You just check your behavior. Just check your behavior. Do they understand the descendants of the slaves? Are they really trying to progress the descendants of the slaves? Or just trying to get cushy positions and stuff for themselves?
Well, let me tell you what I think. Let me tell you quickly what I think. I saw Roland Martin say something, and he said somebody called him boule, and he said, I spend more time around regular people than most of y'all. And, I think people don't understand, and Roland Martin doesn't understand. being around regular people who may not be boule doesn't mean that that's who you're listening to in terms of policy, and that's who you are speaking for in terms of policy. Being around ADOS people and enjoying them or whatever doesn't mean that that's who you gear policy towards. You can be around them all day, but that's not what I hear you talking about. If you really understood that, you wouldn't be fine with Kamala not having a platform. Roland Martin is very happy that he believes that Kamala outmaneuvered Nancy Pelosi, right? He's very happy with the level of integration of ADOS people and other black people at the DNC convention. He's happy that that there are some business people that he may be able to interview there. That's not the same as having the plight of the people on your shoulders, of regular people, and trying to do what is best for them. Those are two very different things that I think he gets confused.
Well, that man is only thinking about himself. How can he get a good cushy position? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what's wrong with the baby boomers. They're very selfish people. They're not even thinking about the next generations that are going to follow them. Just let them get a little pension, a Social Security check, some Medicare and Medicaid, and their brains shut down right from there.
She said it's going to shut down.
It just shut down. So what's the future generations going to go to? Factory jobs are gone. You go to college and get in debt, have a lifetime of debt trying to get a degree to get a halfway decent job. And the job, if you can get it, may be unstable. Government jobs are disappearing. So I'm looking at the baby boom like, where the brains at? It's like they're already dead. The brains died.
Lord have mercy.
And Stella ain't got no platform yet. And if she ever gets one, she already said she's not going to do anything specific for the descendants of the slaves. She already said that. So I don't expect her to do anything. Just sit there and act as an opportunist.
You can't expect no argument from me.
I don't know why people can't see that. Now, Obama had 8 years to do something for us. He didn't do it. I remember one time watching him saying that when he gets out of office, what he's going to do. Okay, all he's doing now is stand up lecturing us.
Well, he didn't, and ain't no power out of office. Anybody tell you they're gonna do something when they don't have power is just playing you for the fool.
I got a girlfriend, and we get this with that. Now, all he's doing now is lecturing us. And I said to myself, it's time for him to just be quiet and go someplace. He had a time. Now, we need to get rid of Scamala. She's just a whole total scam. Everything about the woman seems to be scandalous. Why would I want to put my vote behind her scams? Where's the platform at?
She said, why would I want to...
We're just close to the election, and she ain't got no platform yet, and she ain't got nothing specifically for us. The reason why you vote is so you can get something. So you're going to cast your vote for her and get what?
They gonna get joy. They gonna get joy. You don't understand joy? You don't like joy?
Well, everything's getting expensive. Not just food, housing, just simple over-counter medicine. Getting expensive. I went there to get some stuff for my allergies the other day. The price went up 5 times. I was blown away.
You were doing the math, weren't you? Wait a minute. Carry the 1 and the 2. Carry the... what? Yes.
And something else they do that's irritate me. Hiring all these old celebrities to try to bully and down talk us and shame us into voting for them. I'm like, celebrities, shut up.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna give you 20 more seconds, fam. I gotta get to another caller, but I'm gonna give you 20 more seconds to wrap it up. But you're right. You ain't wrong.
I don't know why black people paying these celebrities their attention. Some of them are already millionaires, and they just trying to get more for themselves. It's like we're in a vicious opportunity self time period.
I agree. I appreciate you, fam. Thank you so much for calling in. I gotta let you go, but thank you. Appreciate you. I had to let you go. I just want to get to a few more callers. 714. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, I'm calling in because I live in California.
Okay.
And they're passing a law. I feel like everything that Kamala is offering us is not really for us. Like this housing thing. Most of our parents owned a home. So we would never qualify for
the first generation homeowner.
$25,000 for a home.
You talking about the first generation homeowner? Yeah. Go ahead, fam. I'm sorry.
And here in California, they're now trying to pass a law for undocumented students to be able to get the campus jobs.
Mm.
And I have a child that's in medical school. It's rough enough. I'm paying $2,200 a month just for her room and board. I don't get help because me and my husband make a certain amount of money. We don't get the scholarships. We don't get the financial aid. And that's what a lot of people don't know. When you're a working family and you're considered middle class, you get classed out of a lot of things. And my children, you know, we have to work tooth and nail to make sure that they become the doctors of the world. But yet at the same time, you produce all these opportunities for everybody else. My daddy family picked cotton. We have the bill of sale for my great-granddaddy. And yet, you guys are standing on this stage, dancing around like Bethune, you know, just making a mockery of the black community. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
Yep, and we don't get anything
and
for...
everybody think it's cute.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, that's the thing either. Like, people say, well, ADOS is poor. Yes, we mostly are. But then there are some of us who have, you know, you have some people who have climbed out, and and it's like, and not I'm talking about out of abject poverty, right? And like out of low working class. So
right.
You make enough to pay the $2,200 a month and still, and I'm just saying that, like, what about, so what happens is you don't get anything because everything is class based. And that's why I say something should be specific for ADOS. It can't just be class based, because you have somebody who has come out of picking cotton and sharecropping who deserves something, but because they're not in abject poverty, they don't qualify. But a new immigrant will qualify, right? A poor white person will qualify, but you won't qualify. So you don't qualify because you did everything right. And there is no space for this ADOS person who did everything right, but is still struggling because we're ADOS and we're not getting any help from mama and daddy. They're not throwing $50,000 and say, hey, I'm gonna take care of tuition this year. White folks do that all the time, and our people don't have enough to do it. Right. And we just get cut out of it. That's why I try to tell people, you have to have ADOS specific policies. You can't just have no poverty program, because that doesn't capture all of ADOS. That doesn't capture, you get locked out of these poverty programs a lot of time at $40,000, if not 25, right? If it's two people, it might be 50. Right. But like, you get locked out of that, but you still have the same inherited issues that you don't have intergenerational, multi-generational inherited wealth passed down to you. So you're still in this trap and don't nobody care.
Right. Like, I was having a conversation with my 26-year-old, and she was talking to me, and she was like, Ma, am I going to ever be able to own a home? She's like, I work. You know, she's a teacher. She's like, but will I ever be able to afford one? Yeah, they have programs to get me in a house, but then if I buy a house, it's $4,000 a month. It's $6,000 a month. You know, will I ever be able to afford a house? She's like, I appreciate the fact, you know, that I have parents who are trying to help me, you know, make it in this world. But at the same time, like, wow. Like, wow, why can't I afford a house? And I'm teaching America right now. I'm teaching these little kids.
But hold on.
You know, they offer me this program with nothing.
And the people that came before her bought houses. Houses was like 3 times your salary. They bought houses on factory and receptionist money, and she came by a house on teacher money. Like, that's insane. Right. It used to be. Now it's like a house is like how much more than your wage? It's like the average house now is like $450,000, and that's not even, y'all's is way more out there. But here it's like $450. Like, no. My parents bought a house at 90. That was, I told you my daddy made 60 in 92, and they bought a house for 90. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? We don't even understand 3 times the wages people were buying houses. Like, and then these old people in your state don't even want to pay. You know, a lot of people, we don't want to pay. Y'all should have been paying property tax, so the money goes back into it for some stuff that we can use to buy houses. Like, no, like, this stuff is done all wrong, and everybody who is Gen X and younger has been cheated. And you should just we should all be fighting tooth and nail right? Because we should know that we've been cheated. We got you got kids who got jobs, and you got a job. You was a receptionist, ma'am, at the local VA, and you bought a house, right? Sir, you worked at a factory. You packed boxes, right? You got a house, and all y'all got a house. It was like three times your yearly salary or something. And you gonna tell me that a house is outpriced for me, and I did it. We should be outraged, and there is no rage. There's only joy.
And it's like nobody's even, nobody is even screaming about that. It's ridiculous. I'm like looking at her, and I literally shed a tear. I'm a RN. I've been a nurse for 20 years, and my daughter is sitting here telling me she's fearing that she will never own a home. And I'm like, you will own a, I made sure that my kids will receive our home, but it's like, that dream of wanting to buy her own home in her is dying because the houses here, a condo here is $600,000.
You got I was talking to Antonio about it. This is insane. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
And she's like, Mom, I got to move way somewhere else to just even look at a house, but then I'm still not going to be able to afford it because of the wages.
They're not going to be the same. They're not going to be the same.
Damn if I don't.
Yeah, that house is $400,000 now. And still, you might not make enough in wages as a teacher to be able to the $400,000 now. And I was reading somewhere that the house is like 50%, 60%. It's more than it was like at the beginning of like 2022. So, like it's insane.
Yes,
child.
Yes. Like where I live at, the houses were before COVID or before 2020. The houses were about $590,000, $600,000. We just appraised our house. Our house appraised at $1.5 million. We paid $490,000 for this house in 2016.
Well, you're doing good. Keep it up.
Yes, and so that right there knocks my kids out of stuff too. Like I was applying, my daughter, she, like I said, she's in medical school, and she's like, Ma, I need to get in this program, and I need to get in that program. I said, okay, just go apply for it. We will do whatever we have. My husband's a longshoreman, and I'm a nurse. We're going to do what we got to do. We got to pick up an extra shift. One thing about us is we want to fuel our kids' dreams, and I'm like, just do what you got to do, And so she was like, I'm going to apply for this job. And then so she was like, they have the job on hold because of this new law. And I said, what new law? And she's like, because they're freezing the jobs because they're working on this law to help the undocumented students in California get the jobs that we normally get. And I said, you got to be kidding me. So I go to the internet and I'm looking and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
No. But listen.
So the jobs are they froze their jobs.
Yeah, we're not outraged though. I'm gonna let you go, fam. It's been a great call, but listen, you're doing right. We as a community have to be outraged though. You can't. That's not something you can do yourself. Like we as a community are not outraged enough. We are not. Your child should be able to say, "Oh, I'm come help me look at houses," and you should be able from your salary to give whatever. You know what I mean? Like this is insanity. Yeah. And and these people have allowed our kids, like y'all's kids, everybody's kids, to be locked out of the American dream, and don't nobody care. And I mean, you care, and I salute you honestly for what you're doing for your kids, because at least you are invested. A lot of these people be like, well, I don't know what to tell you. At least you understand and you feel her pain, and you know that she should be able to do that. Like that doesn't happen a lot, and I think your child will go a long way politically and otherwise because of having somebody who is fully invested in them and understands what they're supposed to have. So I salute you, fam. I appreciate you. I'm gonna get some more of these calls, but I appreciate. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right.
Have a good one, fam.
Love you. I'll see you guys in October.
See you in October, fam. Yes, this is. I don't know why we're not outraged. Look at the price. I almost cussed again. Look at the price of these houses. Look at the price of these houses. People talking about child. Anyway, let me go to 404. 404. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette. How are you?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. Happy Wednesday. This is Renee calling from Atlanta.
What's going on, Renee?
So, I did not. One of the other callers said something that I related to earlier about not watching all of this political content. Not because I'm not interested, but because I already know it's gonna be some bullshit.
Watch your mouth.
We've been here. Oh, sorry. We've been
It's a
here.
children show.
We've done this. It's rinse, cycle, repeat. But something that people have selective memory and short-term memory. 4 years ago, didn't everybody hate Kamala? Like, did they forget why they hated her? Like,
We certainly didn't show up for her.
Nobody was checking. Huh?
I said we certainly didn't show up for her when she was running. The first time, we didn't show up at all.
Like, nobody was. And I'm just like, did y'all forget why y'all did not like her as a candidate? And not to touch on the DNC, but when she came to Atlanta, I had no idea that happened. But I think it speaks volumes that she thought that it was appropriate, or her campaign thought it was appropriate to bring somebody like Meg the Stallion and whoever the other guy was to what is supposed to be a political campaign. Like, that's how lowly they think of you as a person. That's how ignorant they think you are. That's how lowbrow they think you are. Let me hold on. Hold on 1 second for me. Hold on 1 second, fam. I had a different theory about the whole Meg the Stallion thing, though. Like, my theory was Kamala need to fill seats. And I felt like you remember that was right after she announced, and I felt like she felt like in Atlanta, one way to fill in Atlanta, one way to fill seats was to say that Meg the Stallion is performing, right? That's kind of what I thought that was about. We want to make sure we have a crowd. I'm gonna have Meg the Stallion perform, let everybody know Quavo gonna be here. We're gonna publicize that, and I know that celebrity gawkers, people who like celebrities, will just show up and view it as kind of a free concert or something. So that's what I thought about. But I'll let you go, and then, fam, I'll let you finish up, and then I'll try to get to the next caller. Okay, I saw some people who actually went to that, and they gave their own takes. People who are more serious about politics, and they said that after her performance, like, people who only came for that left. But the irony in that event is that occurred at Georgia State University, a school that I graduated from that has a public policy program. How does that make sense? Like, what are people doing? Like, I remember when I was growing up, politics was, it's always been hit or miss, but this sort of stuff, I never thought I would actually live to see this sort of tomfoolery going on. I just never thought, like, that politics, specifically when we talking about Adolf politics, would ever become so elementary. And so, like, you would never catch, as much as Sarah Palin is not a phenomenal politician, you would have never seen Sarah Palin have some white pop star like a Britney Spears at her campaign.
Well, I don't know, child. Now I don't know if Britney's gonna be there. Like, if Taylor Swift is gonna be somewhere, anybody who can take her gonna take her. Like, I think this country is so celebrity driven. I think people are happy to have celebrities around them because this country is so obsessed with celebrity. But I got to get to some more calls. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much. And I get your point. I just feel like this is a celebrity driven, and that, I'm not saying that's not problematic, but this is a celebrity. This country destroys the celebrities because it becomes so fascinated with them. Like, it makes it to where their celebrities can never come outside. Like, that's how fixated this country is with celebrities. It's an illness. Like, that's what it is, but it is what it is. Let me go. 773, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello?
What's going on, 773?
Hello? Hi, is it Yvette? Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, I was so happy to talk to you after all the years that I have followed you and Tone, and I'm 70 years old.
Okay.
And I'm one of these older people that listen to you guys and learn from you guys, and I really appreciate it.
Okay,
and
I appreciate
what I
that.
Say, I'm from from Chicago.
Okay, they over there in your pace now.
Yeah, let me tell you something about what I learned about Chicago with black people.
Okay.
In Chicago, the median net worth of black people in Chicago is zero. Zero. And that is the information that I looked up from the federal census, etc. And the median net worth of white people in Chicago is $217,000. So what does that say? To me, that says a hell of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people my age, they don't, and they don't even believe we should have reparations.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
And I got people from Texas, and I'm trying to my younger people, 50 years old. Well, we ain't gonna never see it. And some of the people I talk to, it's your age, cousin Katie. They don't even. It's crazy. So we got a lot of education to do. But I really want to say, Yvette, you and Tone have really gave me an education.
Oh, thank you.
Because in 2015, whatever, before then, I did not know all of this. I did not have any guts to stand up for the people of the enslaved in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly where my lineage comes from. My mama is from the deep Mississippi.
Deep Mississippi.
That fucked us over. Excuse me. And my
y'all gonna get me off YouTube.
To come to Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You right.
That's where my lineage is from, and I didn't get the backbone and to realize what happened until I listened to you and Tone and an explanation of what was going on. And I thank you very much. I hope to see you in New Orleans.
Oh, appreciate it, fam. I hope to see you there too. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Love you. Love you, fam. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to stand up when you're standing with other people too. That's the thing. It's easy to stand up when you're not standing up by yourself. That's part of the thing too. Going to lightning round. 484. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. That's really all I really called to say.
Oh, appreciate you.
And let you know that you keep pushing, keep moving, and I just appreciate it.
Appreciate you, fam. I thank you. Thank you. You have a great day. I appreciate you. Going now to probably gonna be my last caller. 816. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette. I'm
Hey.
Tracy from Kansas City. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, girl. Just listening to the conversation.
It's good tonight.
So I wanted to know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said it was good tonight.
I know. So I got a question. I've been trying to look this up. So when did we get tied in with the Latinos? Was that back in the Civil Rights Movement?
No.
Was it earlier? Because I can't find
No,
any real
it was
information.
later.
I'm tired of hearing.
You know what happened? I think it was after. If you haven't read that book club book, Making Hispanics, go read it. Because it was during that time. I don't even think I don't think Hispanics is a category. I think that book details how it was made into a category. And I think they created that category just to compete. It's in there. They created that category to compete with Negroes, to attach themselves. Because Hispanics used to be considered white, and they fought to be considered white. That's people don't understand. Latinos, Hispanic, they fought to be considered white until there was money. After the Civil Rights Movement, there became money in that being quote unquote black, which was Black American back then. There was money in that, and we were getting resources. And so they said, well, we're brown. Let's go fight to get those resources that they are getting. We're brown. And so we're going to make it black and brown. We're going to force ourselves, we're going to get the OMB to give us a category. Now we can go fight for those resources. So after they went and got that category, that Hispanic category, then all of a sudden it went to blacks need and whatever, to black and brown, to Hispanics and whatever, after the creation of that category. But the category was created to compete. It's not a real ethnicity. They don't have the same thing that we have as ADOS, which is the same background, the same history, the same lineage, the same contribution to America. America. How we got here is the same. They don't have anything. They don't have a real tie that binds. So you'll call somebody who comes from Venezuela, somebody who comes from Ecuador, somebody who comes from Mexico, all the same thing. And yeah, it's problematic, but our leaders once again supported it. Right. And they gave them assurances like, we're not going to compete with y'all. No. What you think it was for if it wasn't to compete with us?
Right. Yeah, and then I was researching. Kamala took our Freedmen's Bank and now she's applying it to everybody because I'm trying to think, we're being pushed out of these jobs. Because I just read that Harley Davidson, now everybody's hired under DEI. So Harley Davidson said, we're not doing DEI no more. I think AT&T is kind of hinting at it a little bit. So I'm trying to figure, it has to be a way we can support each other economically. You know what I mean? I think the heavy lift is because DEI was a problem because it was never about diversity. And even I saw Antonio put up something about MIT and they were talking about the number of black students who came in MIT to drop maybe, what was it, like 15 to 5 or something like that. And like we were badly represented at these schools. Right. So like that drop does not represent mostly us. That represents a lot of black immigrants who are not getting included anymore, who are masking themselves as just because flat blackness. What has to happen is that we have to be able to get the same kind of specificity that other groups get. Like nobody talks about us by ourselves. Right? People talk about Latinos, they talk about dreamers, they talk about Native Americans and what they're going to do for those specific groups. And that language has to change for us. Right? That language doesn't, everybody with us is like black and brown and disadvantaged. And so the first thing you have to have happen is what we tried to do this last time at the OMB is say this is a specific group and we have to talk about this group in very specific ways because that's about harm. It's not about race. So when you say it's not about race, you know, when they say race is lineage is a proxy for race. No, it's not because we're not including Ghanaian Americans. We're not including black people who immigrated here. We're not including, Eritreans, we're not including Ethiopians, we're not including anybody who immigrated here. Those people are also quote unquote black. But so race you cannot consider lineage a proxy for race when it excludes other black people. So we have to fight for that and to be a specific group and to have our group be based on a specific harm and not melanin and kinky hair. And that's what our OMB push was for. And so that's what we have to keep doing, whether people like it or not, is pushing for disaggregation so that we can define our harm and what we deserve as a part of that harm. Reparations is a part of that, but there are also resources that we can get based on the specific harm that we have. And, you know, we should have done that a long time ago. I don't know why we didn't. Yeah, cause I'm thinking, I'm like, it's like the walls is closing in on us pretty fast. Like where I'm at on the east side, it was like a big old community garden of black people, sell their fruits and vegetables, and the city pretty much shut them down. I'm like, we can't even sell food and fruit and large people. So I don't know, unless we can like put our own representation into politicians, like have our own congressmen, our own senators, Because, Kamala or Trump's not going to do anything either for us.
No, yeah, you can get no disagreement with me. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The reason we talk about Kamala so much is because that's where the most of our votes are. Like Trump could have way more ADOS votes than anybody else, and the Republican Party typically still doesn't get a lot. So we're talking about this because we normally vote Democratic. So no, I don't hold out any hope that Trump's going to do anything. He's even backtracking on immigration. Like I don't know if y'all saw it. I put it up on Twitter, but he said a lot of people need to come, and we just got to keep the criminals out. Like that's different than that mass deportation plan. And your people had up mass deport signs up. Like that's different. You sound different. So I don't hold out any hope on that. No. But I appreciate you, fam.
No.
Thank you.
That's all right.
I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and you have a good night. Yeah, that's it, fam. If I didn't get to you tonight, I apologize. God bless you. If I didn't get to you, that's gonna be all the calls for the night. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. Yeah, people had a lot to say tonight. I appreciate it. If you like it, I love it. But listen, everybody just got to keep in mind that we are, and we have to continue to be, as much as people don't want us to be, an agenda-driven group. If you want to see the ADOS agenda, adosfoundation.org, the agenda is there. Our reparations framework is there. We wouldn't tell you to be agenda driven, and we're not agenda driven ourselves, and that is our standard. We do not run on joy. That is not how our politics goes. Our politics runs on policy. Right. So no matter what anybody feels about that or what anybody says about that, we are right about that. And we really don't want to set the precedent of Kamala Harris being able to run without any kind of policy positions. Now, Kamala, we all know, Ms. Harris, you don't have to write those things yourself. That is not the expectation. Those policy proposals are written by people who are experts within the Democratic Party, and you should direct them to do so. And that is our expectation, that we will do something will happen, that there will be policy to benefit us. That is what we are looking for. That is our demand. We are not looking for joy. So anyway, fam, I have joy in my heart, but I don't want it in my politics. Now, y'all have a good night. Please take care of yourselves. Don't bother nobody. Don't let nobody bother you. Finish your libation, and I will see you all next time.